Hey guys, welcome to the Believe, Be Real, Be Bold podcast. I'm honored to have in my home, Michael Mathis.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm good. I went to the VA and had blood work done, so I'm kind of I'm a little drained. I'm glad I'm not working out, but
Well, that's actually how we know each other. You're a client of mine at the gym, and we got to talking, and we've got to know each other pretty well over the last 3 weeks or month or so. Of course.
Yeah. So I've been going to 24 off and on like the past 2 years maybe. So and I just kind of like that gym just because more homey to the gay community or whatever. Granted, I don't agree with a lot of them, but it's just more comfortable for me to be there. So
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of variety of clients that go to that gym. I didn't know what I was going to get when I started our conversation with you. I literally said, okay, what are your goals? You checked them off the list. Okay, what are you doing for your workouts now? Checked them off the list. Okay, what are you doing for nutrition? And then I looked at you and I said, what do you need me for?
Yeah, 255 pounds, which I'm a little afraid I'm going to lose my gains at this point.
And that's because our gym got shut down on Monday.
My gym at my work is shut down. I'm forced to work from home. I don't know if I'm moving into the apartment complex that has a gym, and who knows if that's even open. So right now it's monkey bars and gymnasium at the local park.
Okay.
So
except for the snow.
Except for the snow. Today I'm not working out though because I had I don't know if they could see this in the video, but I had a lot of blood work done today. So today is not good. Yeah, not even going to run.
So tell us a little bit about you. During that conversation, we didn't necessarily bring up anything too personal, but it was later on after we connected via text that we really kind of approached the subject of you being HIV positive. And it almost felt like we opened up the lines of communication from client to client to trainer, but also friend to friend too.
Yeah, a lot. It's actually something that I'm not trying to be emotional or anything, and I'm starting to get there. But I recently was diagnosed last February, late in February, early March last year. So it's only been about a year since I got diagnosed. And when I got sick, I thought it was the flu. I experienced a lot of throwing up and body aches, sweating, and it was literally like 3 or 4 months before that. So it was. I literally found out shortly after I was after I had all the symptoms and everything, and it was really, really fresh for me. So and it's one of those things where it was hard for me to I think if I didn't get the right people in my corner, both work, family, and friends, then I probably would have driven my car off until realistically. So
well, it's big news to hear.
So, and I'm not one of those people either where I would do that. It's just I knew right away how I would probably react if I didn't get help. So and that's kind of where I'm at emotionally as a human being. So
well, thank God for your support system.
Yeah. A lot of people in my corner. So, which my work is forcing me to work from home because the coronavirus, and they think I'm going to get ill. I'm like, okay, I'm on antiretroviral medication, so I should be fine. But they're like, no, you work from home. I'm like, okay, great. So
it's nice to know that they have precaution in place and that they're concerned for your health and well-being.
Yeah, but now everyone's working from home because they all found out that I have HIV, and they're all concerned that they might have corona because of my HIV. I'm like, really?
So there's not really a connection there.
Exactly. There's zero connection there. I'm like.
So I can imagine that having this conversation on a recorded podcast would be challenging for anyone. Why is it that you chose to reach out and say, Dave, I have a message to share?
Because I went probably through hell and back last year, and there was a lot of stuff that happened that should not have happened, especially with the VA itself. And I know that there are people who are out there who are either afraid to get tested or they are afraid to find out because they don't have insurance and they don't have resources. And luckily, I have the resources that I have. But you know, I just kind of wanted, like, I want to try to reach out to help someone else. Sorry, I'm starting to fall apart. Last year, I actually, and this is where it was really bad for me. The doctor, I'm not going to mention her name for liability reasons, but she had called my mom because she was next of kin and told my mom my diagnosis not once but twice. And it went so severe, I actually got the White House involved.
Because that's not her role, that's not her place.
Well, yeah, and the HIPAA on top of it. And then she retaliated on top of it, and she refused to refill my medication, and she also refused to continue care. So,
what is common practice for getting tested in the gay community, and then what do you recommend for everyone out there?
Well, I usually got tested maybe every 6 or 8 months or so. So like, not too often, because I wasn't really somebody that I was out there getting like laid every 5 minutes or anything. But I was the last time I tested negative was in September, and this is how quick it happened for me. Was September of 2018, and then it was I would say maybe October, November is where I started getting the signs and symptoms. So within that month and a half time frame, so by the time that I tested negative, I had probably had sex with the person who gave it to me, and then I started feeling all of the symptoms and signs immediately after. So I mean, you can, and as far as getting tested, you can get tested anywhere. I mean, it's not something that people shy away from. You can get tested at your hospital. You can test it at your doctor's office. The Colorado AIDS Foundation tests people all the time, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of places where people can get tested.
Yeah, I just recently got a new term life insurance, and they tested blood and urine and give everybody the opportunity to find out your results of the blood test along with your brand new insurance.
Which I actually made a huge mistake with my work, because they are one of the few companies that do not test for HIV, and they let you sign up for life insurance through the company that I work at. And I really wish I would have signed up for it, because now if I were to sign up for it, they would deny me.
Right. So how long have you worked at your current job?
About 2 years.
About 2 years. And you're in finance for the auto industry.
Yeah, I work in finance. We pretty much just process loans all day long.
Okay. So you can work from home. That's nice to have right now.
Yeah. So.
So in prevention, moving forward, what steps are you taking in communicating and then protecting your partner?
To be honest with you, I just tell everybody. I'm just very open at this point, because I think the more open I am, the more I can move forward with my life. And I'm not going to stop living my life. I'm gonna keep on doing the things that I want to do, and I'm not gonna let people give me that negative stigma, And at first, I was dating somebody who gave me a really bad negative stigma. I was dating him, and I didn't have sex yet when I found out, and he said he was okay at first, and then it was the St. Patrick's Day parade last year. He broke up with me, and his quote unquote words were, "Has nothing to do with the HIV, but I want to be here for your journey on HIV." And I was like, "Journey? Really? You're such a douche."
So that wasn't very sensitive.
No, it was very, he made it very obvious it had a lot to do with the HIV, and he was not comfortable. And I think if he would have approached it a little bit differently, he would probably still be a friend of my life. But I obviously don't talk to the guy anymore. And it's more of like, if he would have said, "Hey, I'm freaking out. This is scary to me. I don't know anything about it. I want to go just be your friend right now," I would have been totally fine with that. But the fact that he just pretty much lied to my face, I was just like, "I'm done with you." So
yeah, because no matter what, we have to have healthy boundaries for ourselves and our own mental health.
Yeah, pretty much. So, and I would have been completely fine if he would have just told me the truth, like, "Hey, this is scary for me."
Because it's scary for everyone.
Exactly. And a lot of people still think of the 1980s AIDS epidemic. So I was thinking that when I went through my head. Luckily, and I did not want my 75-year-old mom to be told by a third-party doctor.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, luckily she because I didn't want her thinking in her head that she's going to have to bury me before she dies, and she's a diabetic. So for me, it was really, really hard having that conversation with my mom, but shockingly, my mom actually knew more about HIV than I did. And I'm in the gay community. You would think that I would know more about it, but I never had ever had an issue, and I was always safe. And you know, it was that one time that I was not safe, and that's where it took a toll. So.
Mm-hmm. And moving forward, you're doing everything you possibly can to be transparent.
Oh yeah, completely.
Be authentic, which is transparency is a big part of authenticity, and then also safe sex moving forward.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like, you know, I'm not like one of those people where like let's go sleep out with like 5 different people at one time. If I'm dating one person, I stay with the one person. If they want to still date other people, you know, that's fine with me as long as we communicate that, like, okay, is this a relationship? Or are we just dating? Or, you know, that's where it becomes like, you know, you have to constantly communicate with your partner and what's going on. And then, you know, if they have sex with somebody else, so, hey, let me know. That way I can at least go make sure I stay clean, you know, because I don't want to catch anybody else's nasty stuff on top of it.
Sure.
So, you know, it's one of those, you know, just sit down and communicate with people kind of a thing. So, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you came on the podcast to share your message, and one of the things that you told me was that God gave you this challenge in your life because he knew you could handle it.
Yeah. I feel, trying not to get all emotional again, I'm sorry.
Take your time.
I feel like before I was diagnosed, I felt like I was lost, and I feel like I had since I got diagnosed. I'm not a religious person. I am Catholic, but I'm not like, you know, holier than thou. Like, I make mistakes, you make mistakes, everybody makes mistakes. Everyone on this earth is a sinner. I mean, look at what we're going through. People are sitting at the store over toilet paper.
Sadly, yeah.
Sadly. But, you know, I feel like I reconnected my relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that doesn't sound right to certain people, and, you know, I understand where that may come off as, but for me, it's more of, I've accepted, you know, that, you know, I don't think it was his intention for this to happen, but I think he knows that I know that I will be strong and I can survive it. So,
in order to support others.
Yeah. So that's where I wanted to come on here, because I know that there's somebody out there who's listening who is afraid, who has no support system, who doesn't know what to do, and they probably know that they have it, and they haven't even tested yet, and they're afraid to even go get tested.
Yeah, because they don't want to face that.
They don't want to face that reality check.
Yeah, facing that reality, challenging for straight, gay, asexual, heterosexual.
Anybody can have it.
Yeah.
So it's not just the gay community, and it's sad because there's a lot of people in the gay community who still have that negative stigma, like the guy that I was dating last year, where you know they're afraid of it because they're not educated. So, and you know, because of my medication, it's like I don't have it. I mean, I have it, but I can't even, like, if I wanted to go and have unprotected sex, I can't even pass it on. So it's not that I would do that, but the thing is, though, it's I can go live a healthy life as if nothing ever even happened. I'm probably going to die from like horrible supplement usage in the future versus like a heart attack on wheels is more prone than me dying from HIV. So
we're talking about steroids.
Sure.
So understanding that the universe or the source or God gives us signs to return back to our purpose and our mission in life. I've personally gone through health scares with my daughter, low points in my own life, and examples or experiences with sexual trauma in my history too that were reminders of God saying, Dave, come back home. because you're straying too far from me. And that's one thing that helped me rebuild a relationship with God in the last 2 to 3 years, is those constant reminders of like, Dave, you're not staying true to your purpose. I've shared with you what your mission is in life and you keep deviating from it. I need you to come back home. Sometimes it's a light tap on the shoulder, sometimes it's a 2x4 to the head.
See, I think he hit me with a 2x4. And he was like, you did something bad and now you need to, pick yourself up.
I doubt it was from judgment of like
It was
his decision was
yeah.
good or bad. It was simply just like, you're my child and you need to come home.
I think it was more on that, but the fact that I obviously had unprotected sex with the guy who gave it to me, I'm pretty sure I know who it was, because when he did it, he had this look on his face where he was just kind of like smirking, like he knew, So I was like,
with malicious intent.
Yeah, and there are some people out there that are just nasty and sick like that, and that's also unfortunate. But and like I don't even remember the person's name, but that it is what it is at that point. So I just wish I would have gotten tested earlier than that. But I actually found out pretty quickly after. So.
Yeah, it sounds like that. So we know each other through the gym, and fitness and nutrition is a big part of well-being and a healthy lifestyle, and also keeping yourself healthy. So what's your fitness routine like? What is your nutrition like, and why do you choose those?
Up until Sunday, I was working out at the gym 6 to 7 days a week.
A couple days with me for corrective exercise for the low back.
Yes, exactly, because I have a lot of back problems. I have scoliosis and stage 1 disc degeneration in my lower lumbar. So really, really painful on certain things I cannot do, but we're trying to work through that, especially during this lovely crisis that the media has put out. I'm still blaming the media on that one.
It caught it like a brush fire, and it didn't really slow down.
I think it's going to get a little bit worse before it gets better. So, because things always get worse, and then people finally realize, and then the light bulb goes off in their head, and they go, "Oh, this was nothing after all."
Mm-hmm. We're at this point when we're recording this, we're already seeing people recover from having coronavirus or COVID-19.
Yeah. And also that on top of it, they're looking at using anti-malaria as a vaccine. They're also using my medication on top of it to treat it. And it's like, that should tell you people that, they're already working on a solution, and they're not just like letting it brush off and saying, screw it.
And because you have back problems, it's hard to work out from home. Like, HIIT workouts at home are not the right fit for you.
No,
Because you need to isolate muscle groups like biceps and back one day, or chest and triceps another. And what we were doing with physio balls and core strength and stability can be done at home.
I can do that stuff at home, but right now my living room is nothing but boxes and furniture.
So on top of coronavirus, on top of working from home for the first time in your life, you're moving within the next few weeks.
As long as they're still open for me to move, but yeah.
Right. I know that every single gym, the one that I work at, where we know each other from, our apartment gym is closed down. So it's hard to balance out mental, emotional, and physical health when access is different, especially for people with an injury.
Oh yeah, completely. I mean, I use the gym as my punching bag. So, I mean, I deal with people who are complete, and I'm not bashing the type of customers I have, but I have some pretty demanding customers. Sometimes I have to deny people's loans because they have a 480 score and it's my fault.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of taking it out on friends and family, I go to the gym and I beat myself up using weights. So
and it's a big stress reliever.
It is. It's a huge stress reliever. So right now, my current stress reliever is video games.
Which makes us feel even more isolated than we already are.
Exactly. So and I'm trying, because like I understand like the concern with HIV and how like there's 3 different and they're all theories. Where one, I could get more sick because my immune system's already shit. Pardon me for saying that. But then 2, I could have corona and I might be fighting it off because of my medication. And then 3, what if I am fighting it off and then I'm passing it on to everybody else?
Sure.
So there's 3 different theories that are pretty valid, but they're all theories. So it's like there's no proof of any of them. So me being at home, I try to get out as much, but I try to avoid people because of all 3 of those.
Yep. So thank you for joining me in person. I know that that's a risk, but a risk worth taking because we need connection as human beings. We're social beings.
Yeah, we can't be isolated.
So what are some other coping skills that you're using at this time for your mental health, emotional health?
Just talking and texting people every single day. Mm-hmm. And then I keep on posting on social media how stupid people are.
So I want to bring up social media in this context actually, because yes, the news and the fake news is being spread like wildfire across Facebook and social media.
It's horrible.
And that's one of the reasons why we take a detox from social media as a group every single weekend, where we can eliminate what's real and what's untrue from our lives so that we can continue to connect deeper with the relationships that we already have. And why I bring that up is like the people that we spend the most time with really do have a big influence on our psyche, our mentality, our mindset, and our positivity or negativity.
Exactly. Yeah, I think having the right people just in your corner on a daily basis makes a huge difference. I mean, I hate to say this, I'm not the type of person who likes to cut people out of my life. So
you're not the type to cut people out?
I'm not the type to cut people out, but if someone's so extreme, I will cut them out of my life. Because I just either I can't emotionally deal with them, or I like earlier today I actually cut someone out who's been on my Facebook page forever. She's a real estate broker. I'm a real estate broker as well too, but she told me not to go and pick up my tier 3 medication, not to go get my mandatory blood work to make sure my medication's still working properly and not killing me, because I might get somebody else sick and I should feel good about myself if I do that. I was like, wow, I'm done with you.
So you felt extremely judged?
No, I just think she was extremely insensitive and she was overreacting based off of mainstream media.
Okay.
So, especially when there are so many different viruses that are out there that are more deadlier and have actually killed more, versus the amount of numbers that this actual virus has done. And it's scary because it's unknown. And I think that's where people are freaking out and they're flipping out about it. But it's like, if you look at the flu virus last year, it killed 40,000 people. So far, this one has killed 2,000. Mm-hmm. Shut up. Relax. So, and we're only 3 months into the year. So if you do 2,000 every single 3 months, it's still far less than the flu.
Mm-hmm. And your opinion is valid. You're definitely able to have an opinion, whether it differs from somebody else. But that point of sensitivity and social media is a good one. Like, we hide behind a screen sometimes and we're like, I can say whatever I want because there's no consequences. And especially when we have something so polarizing as the COVID-19 right now, where I have my opinion and it differs very much so from my roommate Sam. So we're having discussions in the evening and he called me out last night. He's like, Dave, you need to be more informed. And I asked, like, who do I need to be more informed by? Mainstream media, social media, or the doctors that are being interviewed, etc.
Exactly. And I think if people just go, and it's kind of just like HIV as well too, like if you just go educate yourself on the proper references, don't go to social media because social media said this, get your facts right, learn about stuff and then educate yourself. I mean, don't just listen to, oh, well, Sam over there, he posted this, so it has to be true. Mm-hmm. And it's like, who cares about Sam? Who the fuck is Sam?
Well, that was just a generic name. You're not talking about the roommate.
Sorry. That's his name, my bad.
It was just coincidence.
That's total coincidence. I totally guessed his name. My bad. Psychic abilities right there.
I did say it.
You did? Okay, cool.
That's why it was planted in your head because I said.
See, you planted it. See, there you go. No, but it's just like people follow way too much crap, and it's like if you just do your own research, mm-hmm. then you will understand that like you can't live off of what other people say. You have to, go live your life and just.
Yeah, it's a game of telephone, right? Did you ever play that game as a kid where you just sat in a circle and you whispered in each other's ears? And the phrase or whatever wording that you chose to start with was completely different from when you started, once you get to the end of the line. And that's a lot of what social media does for us.
Oh yeah, completely. Like, especially with this coronavirus, I responded to someone's post because they're like, California is doing martial law. And I was like, hold the phone. Do you even know what martial law is? I'm like, no. Martial law is where they come, they take your guns, they enforce a severe extreme amount of socialism. You're told what to buy at the store. You're not allowed to pick and choose what you want. You tell them you have 4 people in your family. They give you groceries for 4 people. That is it. You are done. Have a good day. So, and people don't understand that. And then I was like, what is this really happening that's going on in California? Oh, they're on a lockdown. That's not martial law. That's a lockdown. They're telling people to stay in their homes as much as possible. Don't go out unless you absolutely have to.
Because there's 40 million people in California.
Exactly. So, and that's the same thing as the game of telephone. This person, I don't even remember who the person was, but he posted, oh, they're going into martial law as early as midnight. I'm like, you understand what the word martial law is?
Yeah.
Like, if it was martial law, I'm pretty sure half of the country who owns guns would be, rioting in the streets right now. So.
And social media, on the flip side, can actually help us connect with people in California.
Exactly, because we can find out what's actually going on.
From the people who are living it daily.
Exactly. So, like, I have a couple of friends that are out there, one of which works for the news, and he's a weather anchor. He's scared because of the fact that he is surrounded all of this hoopla that's constantly going around and around and around, and it's freaking him out. And, on a
because he's overexposed.
Because he's overexposed. He's in the freaking bubble. He's in the bubble of, oh my God, flip out. So I have to constantly wheel him in and be like, come out here for a weekend, get away from this shit. Like, get away from the crazy crap, come out here, we'll go hiking, we'll do stuff. And then the other one, he's a producer. I'm not going to mention his name because I don't want to get any of these people in trouble.
That's all good. We can say what they do, and we can say what they are generally saying, but no names is fine.
But he's a producer, and he's all, no, we're just on a lockdown because the state's stupid. So.
Well, it's extremely precautionary, and we had an episode the other day where we were talking about respond versus react, and now there's overreaction too.
Oh, complete. I mean, right before I came over to your apartment, I was getting containers to pack my stuff, which I'm still questioning if I'm even moving now. The store, every single parking lot spot was full. And it's like, what the?
Well, people are trying to prepare for the worst. And yes, I went to the grocery store on Saturday last weekend, I think, and Sam and I went together. I did my normal shopping because, well, one, I don't have a large freezer at home, and 2, like, I'm on a budget, no matter what's going on in the world, I can't overspend my grocery budget because of fear or scarcity mindset. And I've been thinking a lot about the difference between scarcity and abundance recently. Of like, when I start to make decisions based out of fear as opposed to abundance, then everything constricts in my life, or contracts. And my goal over this year, my word of the year was abundance. So if I contract, well, one, I'm not spending as much money, and that's a good thing for me. This is the lesson that I need to learn out of self-quarantine, is like, I'm not spending more than a few dollars a day, unless it's an auto draft from my account. And my roommate just asked me, we're jiu-jitsu teammates, and he says, Dave, did you cancel your gym membership at the jiu-jitsu school? And I said, no way, because that's family. Because I support them just as I would want my community to support me. And one of my clients did say, Dave, even if we can't meet in person for the next month, keep charging me. It's $650 a month. Keep charging me because I know that this is your income. And that's the type of person I want to surround myself with, is like, he doesn't have a scarcity mindset. He's on the front lines. He's a doctor at Anschutz, and he knows what's going on. He's in charge of the entire building's protocol for this process that they're going through. How do you intake patients? How do you discharge them? How do you inform people who are calling in? How do you manage your team? How do you keep them safe? You know? So those people that I want to surround myself with have abundant mindset. Like, I see a lot of personal trainers. I wasn't going to bring this up today, but I see a lot of personal trainers on social media giving away free workouts.
Mm-hmm.
And what that does is, one, it devalues who you are as a professional.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not working for free
Yeah,
right
exactly.
now, right?
I'm not. So
You
I still tell people for real estate, no, you're going to get financed before I show you a home. So I'm like, I'm not going to work for free. So,
that's really good standard protocol, whether there's a crisis or not.
Exactly. Speaking of which, a lot of people don't understand is like they're afraid to spend money. I didn't cancel my membership at 24 because this crisis is going on. I'm like, no, the company still needs to be driven.
Mm-hmm.
What drives the economy is mom and pop shops. Yeah, it's a corporate company now, but it's still a mom and pop shop at the end of the day. So as long as we keep feeding the economy as much as we can, even people who are laid off, currently not working, feed the economy what we can, you're going to keep the economy going.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what people don't understand. So like if you keep on doing that and keep on living your daily lives, then eventually this is going to dissipate over time. Just things are going to get back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
Like again, it's going to get a little bit worse before it gets better.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what I'm thinking. Is going to get a little bit more worse, where people are going to freak out again, and then it's going to get essentially it's going to calm down. It's going to get better.
Sure. Sounds like you're coming from the mindset of an abundant approach to life.
Pretty much. So.
Yes, we can definitely reassess what our budget is right now, because that's part of our financial pillar of optimal health in our community. Take the time while you're at home, not commuting to work, to look at your finances and understand what needs to be there and what doesn't.
Exactly. Like if you have to cut something out, cut it out. Like if you don't need to pay for Netflix, temporarily cut it out. You can set up Netflix next month.
I'm not going to look at my $10
but
account every month. I'm going to look at the things that are recurring, that are big. Like my three biggest bills every month are rent, child support, and my jiu-jitsu school.
Exactly. So I mean, obviously the bigger stuff, but you get what I'm saying. Like you just need to come down to a spreadsheet, find out what it is that you're balancing out, and make things work for you.
Mm-hmm.
So
we've been through a recession before.
Mm-hmm.
This one will not last as long as the previous one, because of what was going on in the mortgage industry at the time, and our economy is really the foundation is built on the mortgage industry and real estate and things like that.
This is probably going to be a very temporary recession if there even is one.
Mm-hmm.
So you might see the market crash with real estate where it corrects itself. So it's not going to be an actual crash, but instead of, my neighbor's house is $1 million, but mine was appraised at $500,000. What's the truth?
It's because of when it was appraised. But now, if they reappraise the $1 million home, it's going to come down as well, like you said, the correction.
And not just that, but a lot of people overprice their properties, and
with
they
supply
don't
and demand.
exactly. Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff that needs to be corrected in the real estate industry.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember a long time ago when I was living in Los Angeles, I was Uber driving, and I had a client in the car, and she told me about how she spent $10 million on her Beverly Hills flat. I was like, okay, why would you spend that much money? And she's all, I don't get why it was only appraised at $20 million. It's worth 50. I was like, okay, I can tell you why, because that house right there on the corner, which was built in 1993, has had no upgrades, so it's regressing the whole entire neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't want to listen to me. So, and that's what's going on with a lot of the Colorado stuff out here. There's all these Californians that are moving out here, and they're inflating crap. And, essentially it's going to balance itself out. So hopefully it'll go back down to where it's supposed to be.
And we can balance our own lives out in a similar way. Like if we are going through our spreadsheet and our budget analysis, now that we have the time and we have the purpose to do so as a family unit, like all these recurring expenses that maybe we didn't need, quote unquote, need the whole time, now we can actually cut out those that aren't going to tank the economy as a collective. Like Netflix is definitely a commodity for many, many families.
Oh, completely. Especially if you're quarantined at home,
which we probably should keep that membership. And I think that internet's really, really important as well right now. So keep that bill as well. But we're still under $200 a month.
Exactly. I mean, spend what you need, and coming to something like that actually brings up an old movie that I watched a lot when I was a kid. It's called A Wonderful Life. Believe it or not, the guy actually wanted to commit suicide in the movie because he thought his life was horrible and was over. So he prayed and prayed and prayed, and he asked God to kill him, and God made it so he was not alive instead. And he got to witness what his life was like if nobody knew who he was. But before all this happened, he worked at a bank, and there's this scene in A Wonderful Life where everyone, like the economy's crashing, this is a big recession back in the early 1900s, and people are freaking out, so they're all rushing to the bank. And they're like, I want $200, I want $500. They all want to withdraw everything that they have, and nobody understands that the bank doesn't actually hold the money. They send it off, and they just have an account that says you have X, Y, and Z. And then finally, this little old lady comes up to the window, and she's all, I just need $17.50.
What did she need it for?
To pay what her basic needs were. Take what you need.
Yeah.
And that's where, like, all this panic, where the 18,000 rolls of toilet paper per person and the fucking 10 gallons of milk, I'm like, dude, take what you need.
It's definitely eye-opening for mass psychology, as well as what people value. Toilet paper had a very, very low value up until 2 or 3 weeks ago. And when people start making jokes that that's not even the kind of virus that we're dealing with.
Exactly. Because I believe toilet paper would be more of a hepatitis virus, if anything.
Or the actual flu, like food poisoning, etc.
That.
So what I love about the people that I'm connected with, the people that are within my circle that are lifting me up positively, is that now we're bringing levity into the situation. Where the group that we run, the social media detox, they're sharing memes back and forth. They're sharing support for one another. Like, I'm not necessarily active in there all day because I'm running my business from home now. But, you know, one text from me will inspire 6 people to support each other. And that's what we need as a group, as a collective, as connection now more than ever. Toilet paper has no value still, even though it's a scarce item. What has value is our human connection with others.
Exactly. So it's about who you have in your corner and who are the people who lift you up on a daily basis.
Yep.
So, and going back to what we originally said, you know, when I found out about my HIV, if I didn't have that group of people in my corner, I probably wouldn't be here.
I can understand that completely.
So, and a lot of people have this negative stigma about, oh, don't tell your boss or anything. Well, my boss is actually my best friend.
Okay. Now or has
always has been. Always has been. He was the first person I ran to. Like, he was pissed.
Yeah.
You know, because he thought I was going to die. So,
yeah.
But, you know, the first thing he did to me was he helped me and he just let me cry. So.
And sometimes that's all we need.
And exactly, like I was falling apart, you know, I had this crazy bitch of a nurse doctor calling my mom, telling her my diagnosis, and she's a nurse practitioner, so that's why I say she's a nurse. But she's calling my mom and telling her my diagnosis, and I'm freaking out. I'm thinking of the 1980s AIDS epidemic, you know, I'm going into a mass panic, and come to find out I'm going to be okay.
Yeah, everything will be okay.
At the end of the day, everything, you know, people just have to have faith. And that's what it is. So,
now there are people. I'm not an expert on HIV, nor do we run like group support here through the podcast. But we do know people who are, and some of those people are Dr. Mallory Blake at the Center for Shared Insight, who is an expert. Her doctorate was in STDs, and so when we connected, and I shared with you that I run this podcast, that was the first episode that I sent your way.
Yes.
Now, what do you go to that person for help? What specifically are you reaching out to that person for?
For Dr. Blake, which we temporarily canceled just because of this whole coronavirus
thing.
You
can't see her in person.
Yeah, I was like, look, let's just wait off until like the next month or so. And it's nothing personal towards her. I still plan on seeing her. It's just, I'm like, let's just wait until this is all over with, because I'm kind of like, I'm stressed out, I'm fed up. I felt like a little rejected by everybody as a whole. Like I had my boyfriend at the time break up with me, and the gym shut down on me. So I'm like, great, the gym is.
That wasn't about you, by the way. I can attest to that.
The gym is rejecting me. Like,
no, it's
my
not.
work sent me home. So like everybody's like rejecting me right now. So.
So how do we reframe that thought? Because that's untrue.
I know that's very untrue. But that's how I felt when that all happened. Because it all happened in the same day. It all happened in the same day. Like I literally got pulled into the HR office. They're all, we're sending you home. I'm like, oh fuck. I was like, I didn't do it. They're like, no, you're working from home. I was like,
I didn't do it. Like that you were in trouble. That's funny.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, I'm working from home. Great. What are we doing this? So like at 4:00 you could leave and take your computer with you. I was like, oh, okay, got it.
Got it. So that wasn't rejection either.
No, I just felt rejected because, for the longest time I actually wanted to work from home, but it was because I was in a depressed mind state. And when I want to avoid people, because I always say like I hate everybody equally, and that's just more of I just hate everybody equally. I'm not racist, I'm not homophobic, I'm not transgender phobic, I'm not xenophobe. I just hate everybody equally.
Do you hate me equally?
No,
okay.
I actually love you. No, but in general, when it comes to people in like a societal mass, because people just follow each other like sheep, I just can't stand like a lot of that crap. So I just tell everybody I hate everybody equally because I'm over it. I'm too old and I'm dealing with my own shit and I just don't want to deal with it. So as far as I go, it's just more of I didn't want to work from home at this point because I was like, I want to be around people. But now I'm being forced to work from home, so now I'm getting bored and I'm going to the grocery store on lunch and I'm going out after work and I'm bugging people and they're like, you need to stay home. Like, I don't care.
Playing video games, which can take us back towards that depressed state as well.
I think my boss, and again he was a best friend before he became my boss. I think he knew where I was mentally, and that's why he refused to let me work from home, because I think he saw how depressed I really was, and I didn't realize it until recently. And I saw this window afterwards, and it was after I heard Dr. Blake on the podcast. Like, I actually connected with the podcast, and I was like, oh my God. Like, she gets it. She's not a judgmental human being. She's not identifying herself as a cis female, which is the issue that I had with the AIDS Foundation. No pun towards anybody who wants to go there. It's still a great community to go to the Colorado AIDS Foundation. But I had a therapist there. She just took every opportunity she could to identify as a cis female, and it drove me nuts. But I think with my boss though, if I didn't have him in my corner and tell him right away, I probably would have been so depressed that if I would have worked from home, then I probably still wouldn't be here either. Because I'm one of those people where I just want to isolate and I want to leave and I want people to leave me alone. And that's just because I'd rather run away from the problem instead of dealing with it and embracing it. So it was,
which is not a solution at all.
Exactly. And I think that's where he was smart by not letting me work at home first, and now he's forcing me to work from home, so I'm great.
Yeah.
So it's like it's complete opposite of what I actually want at this point.
To kind of bring this all home, God never gives us more than we can handle. And so last year he gave you something big.
Huge.
As a call. Like the prodigal son was a story in church a couple weeks ago. Lost for a little while, and then you get a signal, whether it's in your heart or from the source or God or the universe, to come back home, and you made that happen. And now we're giving, as a collective, another something that we can handle. This is not as impactful in my life as, say, like my history of sexual trauma. If I've dealt with that, I can most certainly deal with quarantine, isolation, and then lack of connection for a little while, because we have solutions. Technology allows us to connect over FaceTime or over Zoom or over Facebook Hangouts, or Facebook Messenger, Google Hangouts, the list goes on and on.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody's feeling disconnected out there, what do you have to say to them? What kind of solutions?
Don't. I mean, you need to get the right people in your corner, and you need to find help. You need to first admit that there is a problem, and then you need to go find the right help. And just because someone like at the AIDS Foundation, she was a brand new therapist. So I think that's what drove me nuts about her, is that she, like, four sessions of just intake questions, and then every single opportunity she had, she was just saying, I identify as a cis female. I was like, what does my HIV have to do with your cis femalehood? I'm like, what's next? Goddess of war crap? Like, I don't care. I care about my HIV. Help me with that.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody is perfect for you, so you just have to find the right people to put in your corner who will help lift you up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where people need to actually get people.
Yeah, possibly interview more than one or two therapists before you decide.
Don't go with the first one that you jump at.
Sure, like test drive a different car or shop around for homes. Choosing the first therapist is a lot like coming from a fear-based mindset or a scarcity mindset of like, well, this is the best I can do. No, not necessarily. I got lucky the first time that I the first time I called Corey at Rocky Mountain, coaching, career, and counseling. But then I got delegated to Hannah, and it was just the right fit. Like for 20 straight months, she created a safe space for me to go speak what was on my heart and my mind. And occasionally I was left to come up with the solution on my own quite often, but that was a good thing for me. That's what cognitive behavior therapy does, is it helps guide you towards the conclusions that's best for me,
It helps you figure things out. So
yeah, absolutely.
But I think that's where if I didn't put those people in my corner, that things would be totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where I thought a lot of things through over the past year. Had no idea I was extremely depressed until my boss pointed it out. And that wasn't until actually I started talking to you about Dr. Blake.
Mm-hmm.
So literally about, I would say maybe about a month before I met you, I was still really depressed.
So that's a pretty quick turnaround.
Pretty quick turnaround. I'm still upset, because of what happened to me. It's not something that's easy to get over. Somebody lied to me, but I go and I live my life every day. I'm 250 pounds at the gym, solid muscle. People stare at me all the time. They're like, oh my God, he's going to eat me. I'm like, no, I promise, I had lunch, we're good. But it's more of it didn't click in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And depression is not easy to identify when it's something that you're going through.
Yeah.
It's easy to identify when it's somebody else, but when you're going through it, it's not easy to identify.
It's also not easy to hear either.
It's not.
No, like
you always want to argue with somebody that you're right and you're wrong, and they're wrong.
Well, you can't tell me how I feel.
Exactly.
I think is really where that comes from. Is I could, in the depths of my soul and the depths of my heart, I could tell that I was depressed. And I've battled depression for 22 years. And that is God's task for me. Is, Dave, I'm only going to give you as much as you can handle. And he doesn't promise a storm-free life. He promises us a storm-proof life. And he's only going to give me as much as I can handle. And this is my project. This is my life. This is my hurdle to overcome. And I choose fitness and nutrition to do it.
See, that's where, that's what kind of keeps me going is, I have to fight for my health, so it's about me and, wanting to continue with my life. I don't give a shit about, I do care about other people, but I don't give a shit about somebody else's body. I care about my body. So it's like my body, my temple, that's why I'm like, fuck, the gym's closed. So now I have to go play at the children's playground on monkey bars. It
will suffice.
It'll be temporary, very temporary. I'm just hoping that my gym at my apartment complex, which is still letting me move in, is not closed down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually a pretty large gym. So, I saw it. I did a walkthrough last Friday before this went to this extreme. And, it's actually a pretty decent sized gym. So.
Nice. Well, I want to thank you for your time, because I know that this was a tough conversation to have. And I want to thank everybody out there listening. And if they want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to do that?
Feel free to get me on Facebook, or even text me. I'm more than happy to give out my phone number. Can I give it out here?
Sure.
303-472-8515. Again, that's 303-472-8515. Even if it's just for healthy nutrition stuff, that's non-steroid. I'm more than happy to talk about health and nutrition. I actually I work with Brickhouse Nutrition as well too, non-steroid Brickhouse Nutrition. But if you ever have questions about stuff like that, or even just HIV, or you just want someone to talk to, just feel free to reach out. It's not, I don't bite, I don't eat people for lunch, but I do pick on people when it comes to stupidity, though. And it's more because I want them to realize what they're actually doing. So it's like, can we really think about this? Is California really doing a martial law? Can we really think about this? Come on. No, but it's more, I'm here to help, and that's why I really wanted to come on the podcast, because I know there's somebody out there who has no idea what's going on.
Well, thank you again. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you.
My pleasure.